Hello and welcome, everybody. We'll just give any late joiners 30 seconds to join, and then we'll be kicking off. So hope everyone's having a great day out there. Alrighty, well, anybody who joins from now on can miss the amazing intro message, and we'll have to catch up. But thank you for joining us today. Yeah, we're very excited to have you for this important discussion on how governments can drive greater efficiency through SOVRA's fee optimization program. My name is Blake Kingston. I'll be your host for today's session. But before we begin, just a quick reminder, if you have any questions during the presentation, please just submit them using the Q&A feature, which will be at the bottom of the screen. And we will try to address as many as we can during the session. If we can't get to them due to time, we will follow up afterwards. Very excited to introduce our speakers today. So we are joined by Liz Del Presto, our Director of Sales and State Government, who will be explaining the program and why it's so timely and relevant given the pressures and priorities facing governments today. Following Liz, we'll move on to a panel discussion that's going to be moderated by Nick Susi, our Senior Director of Transaction Programs at SOVRA. He'll be joined by Gregg Olivera, Deputy Director of the Division of Purchase and Property for the State of New Jersey, as well as Bart Rutkowski, Senior Government Account Manager at Grainger. So together, they're going to share some insights, both from the state and supplier perspectives around the fee optimization program. So with that, I'll pass it over to Liz, and we can get started.
Awesome. Thanks, Blake. So good morning and good afternoon to everyone joining from across the country. I believe we have a coast-to-coast crowd today, so we're excited to have you with us. If you're not familiar with SOVRA, we provide procurement software built specifically for the public sector. But today we are not here to talk about software. We're instead here to focus on a part of procurement that often flies under the radar, and that's administrative fees on statewide contracts. And these fees can represent real meaningful revenue, but a lot of procurement teams just don't have the time or the bandwidth to fully tap into that potential. And right now, that missed opportunity matters more than ever. So between tariff fluctuations, tighter budgets across the board, like if you want to go to the next slide, and just a kind of a general constant push for government efficiency, right? Public agencies are under constant pressure to stretch every dollar and do more and more and more with less. And sometimes that can be a lot less. And so when every dollar counts, it's really worth asking, are we overlooking ways to bring new dollars in? And so that brings us to kind of the big idea of today's discussion, right? Procurement isn't just about saving money. If you optimize how your statewide contracts are structured, how they're managed, you can actually generate revenue and help strengthen your state's financial position. And there's three main levers to really making that happen. And first is your contract portfolio mix. So how inclusive is your fee program? Many states only apply fees to commodities or IT contracts, but there's really a much bigger opportunity here. So the best practice is really to include all contracts or as many contracts as possible into your program. And by doing this, you're ultimately expanding your fee base, which can then dramatically increase what you bring in without adding new work to your procurement teams. Second is going to be local government participation. So local spend is often overlooked, but it can be a really powerful source of net new revenue for the state. So ideally, your local usage of statewide contracts should really mirror the ratio of state versus local budgets. But that doesn't just happen on its own. It really takes outreach, education, and contract marketing to educate your local governments and suppliers and ultimately bring those dollars in for you. And third would be supplier compliance. And this one can really be the toughest. It's not just about having fees on contracts. It's then also being able to make sure you are getting the accurate spend reporting and that these payments are being made on time and the fees are being collected. And too often we see this falling to either a single person or a small team that's also juggling contract management on top of everything else. And that's when compliance starts to become more reactive or inconsistent. And that can also expose the state then to risk. And now I understand it's easy just to say you should be doing all these things, but putting it into practice can often be another story, especially with, everything we mentioned in the beginning with hiring freezes, limited funds, limited capacity. And that's why more and more states we're seeing are choosing to outsource this business process, but in a way that is uniquely aligned with their objectives. And so to delve further into how we're supporting our clients and the components of our program that ultimately lead to these successes, I will pass it over to Nick.
Thanks so much, Liz and Blake, for the intros, and also thanks to our panelists and the audience for attending today. So we recognize that no two states operate the same. Procurement ecosystems differ in legislation, operations, and market dynamics. And that's why our fee optimization model is built to be flexible and tailored. Let's go over some use cases based on some of the work with our clients. So you see here on the screen. So with the state of New Jersey, we collaborated with the state to shift an internal fee structure to a supplier funded model, generating over $150 million in quarterly local government spend. In Hawaii, we worked with the state to collaborate on achieving measurable impacts, despite 90% of the contract portfolio being NASPO participating addenda. And these efforts have actually enabled the state to fund its procurement modernization efforts through the program. In New York, we are working with the state to recover 2 years of uncollected fees based on over $1 billion in spend. And in Oregon, we worked with the state to improve the performance of a long-standing administrative fee program by 50% through collaborative optimization tactics and strategies. So having the ability to have a tailored but reliable approach across all of our clients really depends on the core pillars of our fee optimization program. And so, Blake, if you want to go to the next slide. So the key pillars of our program are represented here. And I'm going to start from the top of the centralized contract database. So centralized contract database is going to create a single source of truth for all state contracts that would be eligible for fee optimization. If you're one of our current clients that use our full source to pay solution, you already have this database as part of our product offering. And if not, we would create that with you. Centralized contract databases are going to be critical for data integrity, streamlines contract and supplier onboarding, and supports compliance tracking and reporting. So kind of feeds into the rest of the wheel here that we're going to go over. So next is supplier success. So for supplier success, we provide dedicated support to help suppliers navigate reporting, fees, and marketing requirements. And this really ensures strong engagement from suppliers and aligns with program goals. Next on our wheel here is the marketplace. So marketplace is an optional part of the program, but if you're one of our full source to pay clients, you already have access to the marketplace. And marketplace, it's an e-marketplace that drives a familiar, streamlined shopping experience that boosts contract visibility and transaction volume. Next is buyer enablement. So for the buyers, we're going to provide a tailored training for your state or your county, and it's really based on working with the states to do that. And so outreach, resources, helping buyers find the contracts they need, find the resources they need to really proceed with confidence when they utilize statewide contracts. And this builds, of course, program credibility and adoption from impacted state and local agency procurement purchasing teams. Next, which is a great part of, or kind of very much related to buyer enablement, is contract marketing. So through contract marketing, we amplify the contract's visibility through targeted campaigns and promotional efforts. This really drives buyer engagement and also supplier engagement. We work with our clients to create really unique marketing campaigns, maybe focused on a specific category or a very critical contract you want to make sure everybody's aware of. So again, this is a total partnership with our clients where we're marketing these contracts based on your needs and what you find most important. Next is sales reporting and fee collection. We implement a structured reporting workflows and escalation paths to ensure timely and accurate vendor submissions of their reports and fees. And we work closely with our clients to create shared tools to keep clients informed and audit ready while supporting fee collection and reconciliation. Of course, supplier compliance is going to feed into all of this and be super critical, right? We create active monitoring escalation processes with our clients to ensure that suppliers adhere to contract terms and obligations. And of course, this supports program integrity, ensuring there's fair competition and that we're applying our compliance requirements evenly and fairly across all participating suppliers. And the last part of our wheel here is program optimization. Obviously, we want to take all the lessons learned from all of the facets of our program to continuously refine strategies and tactics based on real-time data and client feedback. This ensures the program evolves with shifting priorities and market conditions and always keeps our clients' needs at the forefront of our approach. So thank you very much for letting me go over the keys to success for program optimization. I want to next take it to our panelists. So let's now turn to Gregg Olivera, Procurement Bureau Chief of the State of New Jersey, and Bart Witkowski, Senior Government Contracts Manager from Grainger, to get some additional insights from both the state and supplier perspectives. So I'm going to start with Gregg. Gregg, can you discuss your journey and what prompted the state of New Jersey to explore a new approach to statewide contracts and fee collection?
Thanks, Nick. I don't know if it's as romantic as a journey, but the reality is we in the state of New Jersey struggled with accurate cooperative spend reporting for over a decade. The requirement for vendor reporting has always been within our solicitations for years. However, the means by which a vendor reports and to whom was always burdensome. Also, our staffing levels to gather this information, report on it, and actually leverage it became somewhat insurmountable. So we were receiving spend information via many methods, including spreadsheets, Word documents, Outlook, everything you could possibly imagine. So this program has done an amazing job in streamlining this and giving us accurate data.
Awesome. Thanks, Gregg. I got another question for you coming up here, and that is, how has the data and reporting you've received helped influence statewide sourcing strategies?
Well, I just want to be clear, our statewide sourcing strategy and statutory directive has always been executive branch agency goods and services procurement. For many years, the division has opened appropriate contracts to intrastate cooperatives, but has directed those locals to the Department of Community Affairs and Local Government Services for specific use and questions. However, based on this program and from a future procurement perspective, we would be remiss if we ignored the cooperative usage and spend in our decision making, especially now where the reporting is so much more complete and robust.
Awesome. Thanks, Gregg. Next question for Bart. Bart, how has your experience with this program helped you improve visibility on sales through your statewide contract?
Great, Nick. Thanks for that question. Can you hear me well?
Yes.
Wonderful. As the contractual distributor in the state of New Jersey, it is critical for Grainger that the proper visibility helps drive contract compliance. It allows the Department of Treasury and the Grainger to track and rectify all the purchases which are reported by Grainger on a quarterly basis. Access to all the requisitions help us align the right resources and sales coverage to better serve the state agencies and political subdivision. New Jersey NG Start is a central repository where every entity can access contract documents, all necessary forms, as well as the information on all the subcontractors provided and approved by the Division of Purchase and Property within the Department of Treasury. Lastly, it helps to drive the consolidated message to all the buyers and budget holders. Procuring maintenance, repair, and operation supplies is messy, it's random, it can create challenges. Visibility to contract compliance, its transparency, and ease of purchasing through the trusted partner are drivers to the dialogue. In summary, Nick, NJ Start is a conduit to compliance, an information repository, and the best-in-class seller support.
Great. Well, thanks for that, Bart. And yeah, NJ Start's a great place to be, particularly if you're watching stuff in the state of New Jersey. So good stuff. So I think next question we have here is for you, Gregg, and that is, what has the response been of local governments and state agencies after participating in the program?
Well, I think the key, Nick, is about local governments. They now have resources within SOVRA that act as our fiduciary and our steward, which allows them more access to much needed resources and assistance in regarding our state contracts and our cooperative contracts.
Awesome. Great. Thank you. I got another question for you, Gregg, and that is, what have you learned about the value of fee compliance and reporting that you didn't fully appreciate before the program?
I'm not sure. It's a learning process. I mean, I appreciated it ahead of the program, but I think, as I mentioned earlier, the decision-making process has shifted, right? The Bureau is now looking at procurements more holistically when it comes to certain decisions around reprocurement and future intrastate cooperatives. Now that the data is precise, the division can accurately look at both executive branch spend and cooperative spend, making sourcing more complete and providing the full picture to prospective bidders.
Awesome. That's great. Yeah, reporting is always a hard part of procurement, and so I'm really excited to hear that you're getting that value out of it. Okay, Bart, we've got a question for you, and that is, how has the increased communication and support from the supplier success team influenced how Grainger markets and reports on statewide contracts?
I appreciate the question there, Nick. Proper access and support to the Grainger punch list is pivotal to making sure that all the buyers have access to the entire catalog of MRL products and services that are actually covered by the contract. And I think here Greg can follow my thought, and since we're from the same state, EDI environment in which we transact is like a garden state parkway. It allows for a fast transition of data and information, but it requires the right support to maintain it, right? And that is where a supplier success team comes in. By working together, we ensure that the overall value of the contracts with distributors like Grainger is on full display. The supplier success team ensures that the required reporting is submitted timely and it's accurate. This synergy allows Grainger to focus on providing best-in-class MRO support to all the entities within the state. So in summary, Grainger keeps the world and the state of New Jersey working in part due to the supplier success team's collaboration.
Awesome. It's always fun to get on the parkway, and good call out, Bart. All right, so the next few questions are for both Greg and Bart, and I'll start with you, Greg. What impact does the fee optimization program have on the relationship between the state and suppliers?
Yeah, I think this is a relatively easy one, but I mean, from my position, the relationship between the state and suppliers has always been strong in my eyes. But now those suppliers have significant more resources. Thanks to this program, it'll reach more potential purchasers.
Great, awesome. How about you, Bart?
So I echo Greg's comment. I think it takes an army of support to maintain programs like this, and I think the fee optimization helps us to do the business according to terms and conditions of all the contracts. It provides the visibility, and I think allows the program to continue to thrive and provide more benefits as it continues to expand.
Awesome, that's great. And shout out to the supplier success team from SOVRA and to Megan Mackey, our director, who's on the call with us today. So good stuff. Thank you both for that one. The next question is also for both of you. And again, we'll start with you, Greg, and then we'll move to Bart. But how did aligning around shared goals such as compliance, visibility, and contract utilization help build trust between the supplier and the state?
Like I previously said in the last response, I think we view our suppliers as partners to provide the best goods and services to the state, price, and other factors. And so from my perspective, this program and the reporting allows for a certain higher degree of transparency between the supplier and the state that allows us to achieve our goals, both of our goals, in a quicker and more robust fashion.
Awesome. And Bart, that question goes to you.
So once again, I echo what Greg just mentioned. I think it provides us to have very similar vision heading in the same direction. It provides common goals that we can share and work together on achieving. And it just proves that the mutual partnership needs to be there in order for the program to work and to make sure that we have the proper compliance at the state level.
Great, awesome. So our last question here is again for both of you, and that is, looking ahead, how do you think programs like this will shape the future of state procurement, particularly in terms of efficiency and supplier engagement? And Greg, I'll start with you.
Thanks, Nick. I don't claim to have a crystal ball, but I am a data junkie. In a former career, I was an IT director, so I always feel that the more accurate data that you have going into a process will always lead to a more desirable solution for all stakeholders. So this program may not be in its infancy in New Jersey, but we haven't yet reached puberty. And I think as this program matures, I think the efficiency for supplier engagement within the division and with our local cooperative purchasing partners will keep growing in a very positive direction.
That's awesome. That's great. Yeah, and it goes back to that cycle we were talking about, that virtuous cycle we were talking about earlier, is continuous improvement based on all the stuff we're learning and all that data we're collecting. So great stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah. Bart, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Nick. I appreciate it. I think that the train already has left the station, and we know what the future is going to look like. It's going to be even more digitalized. It's going to be mostly based on EDI environment. And as Greg said, I think the future is really going to grow and be based on that supplier engagement and collaboration, because that's what the program is intended to do. And so from the future of the state procurement perspective, I can only see a stronger collaboration between the contract holders and the state in general.
That's great. And that's great to hear. Well, awesome. Again, thank you, Bart, and thank you, Greg, for your participation today and answering with such thoughtful answers. I'm going to turn it over to Blake to close us out.
Well, yes, we don't have any questions yet, but if anybody wants to put some questions into the Q&A before we close out and give some time back. But Nick, I was just, obviously you've worked, not to put you on the spot here, but you've worked with many of the states. So with this last question, I would love your thoughts, because you've really seen this evolve and you've seen the implementation across numerous states. So it'd be great to get your insights.
Yeah, no, I appreciate the question. I mean, I think, sort of the theme of collaboration and I don't want to say, unity really, but as you work with local governments and state governments within the same state ecosystem, you learn how much they really depend on each other for really, turning out a great, procurement offering, whatever that might be. And it's a varied ecosystem state to state. Some states work much more closely with locals, some not as much. And this type of program really allows everybody to kind of come together, share feedback with each other, what's working, what's not working, also setting expectations. What can the state do? What can't they do, right? So sometimes we learn a lot from our local partners that they want more for certain things. Well, maybe there's a different way to ask for it or a different agency to ask. Those are the sort of things that we're really learning and excited to be the conduit to. We don't have the answers, but we help facilitate or help find the answers. And that's been probably the most exciting and fun part. It's just really getting boots on the ground to kind of help public sector procurement advance in each of our state clients. So that's been the most exciting part for me. I also think, we've learned a ton from working so closely with suppliers. What's working in our software, what's not working in our software. A lot of times, we hear the software from the government client's perspective. It's great to hear how the software experience is from the supplier perspective. And I think we as a company have really learned a lot from that through this program. And so those are I think at the end of the day, the really cool part of this program is that, yes, we're collecting fees, we're helping drive revenue, but we're also connecting stakeholders. And I think really driving everybody's interests forward through doing that. So really appreciate the question, Blake.
Yeah, I think that connection is such a strong point, really building those bridges, not just, with the suppliers in the state, but also from the state to local or state to state agencies. That can't be underplayed at all. Yeah. So there's no question, so I guess we can give people time back, which I don't think is something anyone's ever complained about. But I do want to take one more chance to thank Greg and Bart, as well as Nick and Liz for taking the time out of their schedule to join us today. So if there are any other questions, throw them in the chat. We can by all means follow up afterwards, and or feel free to reach out. You can go to SOVRA.com and there's lots of information on the fee optimization program there. But thank you very much, and hope everybody has a great day.
Awesome. Thanks, Blake. Thanks everybody. Take care.